Alright guys, since my last part worked really well, let's do Grok, whatever the hell it's called, the Love AI, and ask it for characters to draw. And let's see how this goes. I hope it works fine. I mean, the last ChatGPT worked fine. I never used this before, so see what it says. Name Hazushina. They're giving him her age too, bro. What the hell? Where is she from, bro? What? I can't even find her. What is this? I need. Oh, so they just made one up. I need. Random. All right, a bit generic. A bit generic, but it works. We can draw her from Oshinoko, the main girl from that show. Her, to be specific, we're drawing her. All right, that's fine. Yeah, it was a bit weird they gave me not an anime character when I did the prop saying that I do want an anime character, but it's fine. It's fine. We got it working, so it's all good. I'll look for a reference and we can draw her. I don't want to go too much down there because spoilers, which you already seen one, but it's fine. Yeah, we do drawing her. All right, let's get straight into it. All right, guys, welcome to the new video. This is day 43. 43? 45, I think. I don't even know what I said. 43. I think it's 45. I had already a kind of intro, so I don't really have to talk about what we're doing today. We are drawing the character from Oshinoko Ai. I think that's how you say her name. It's an interesting drawing. It's not my favorite piece of art. I think it turned out pretty alright. I worked on it a bunch. I added a bunch of effects in this one specifically because I didn't really know how to do her like glowing looking eyes, because in the reference he has more glowy eyes. So I didn't really know how to do that. You guys are gonna see what I've done at the end, but mostly I was trying to figure out kind of how I wanted to start the drawing. So I was kind of planning out like how I really wanted to like start this piece of art. I was trying to think of what I really want to have and how I want to have everything placed in what like specific areas and like specific places, how I wanted to center the drawing and how I wanted everything to look. I was trying to find the right position and right place for everything, kind of fitted really nicely together. So I started as you always do with a circle, and then I went from there pretty much. There's nothing like special about this startup. I just like tried to figure out where I kind of want to place it. I can also move it around anyway, so it wasn't like super like specific it's gonna be like this or not. I can just move it anyway, but Alright, to make sure it's kind of like central enough, as the reference image is pretty central in the drawing. The drawing is pretty in the center, so I wanted to follow up with that and make mine also kind of in the center, so it doesn't look too off how it is in the drawing. I think if there's one thing I think I turned out alright is the face in this drawing. I think the coloring probably could have been better. This is probably my least favorite colored one that I've done. But I don't know. Let's get straight into the next part where I start talking about more. Like I'll show you guys the end line when I finish the end line art, and then I'll go from there. Alright, there. This is the line art. This is like what I kind of ended up ending with. I think out of everything, the face in the line art turned out the best. I don't think I did as good with everything else, but the body looks a bit off, maybe like her hands and stuff. But I think her head looks alright in my personal opinion. I think it has a nice design to it, a nice like art style preference thing. I don't know if it's the best thing I've seen. The best thing I've seen. I don't know if it's the best like face I've made, but it's pretty decent, I think. I don't know. My personal opinion is that it was really hard to like, because if I realized I have an issue with the page of the drawing, like the sizing. I always forget to size the exact length of the canvas that I'm doing. Like for example, for this drawing that I'm using as a reference, the reference is in a smaller canvas than what I use for this drawing. So because of that, I have to make prospective changes and make stuff bigger than they are, or change up some stuff so it looks more like it's in the reference. So because of that, it makes my life harder, and I just realized I should always change it to the same kind of page size, you know, so I can kind of fit it all together. I don't know if that makes a lot of sense. I don't know how to. There's ways to like probably change it as I'm doing the drawing, but I don't know how. But pretty much, now that I consider it and after looking at it, maybe I should have changed the canvas size so then it was easier to fit everything in, so it's like the same as the reference image, because I had to improvise with the clothes and improvise with the hands and like a couple extra improvisations with here and there poses and stuff to make sure that everything kind of fits in together all really nicely. I had to improvise a bit, but it all kind of worked out. I don't know if it's the best, as I said, line art I've ever done. It's a bit clearer than half of my other ones. I usually have really messy line art. I feel like I did clean it up a bit with this one. There's a lot of still chicken scratches. Sorry. There's a lot of chicken scratches still. If you look at the hair and stuff, there's still a lot of chicken scratches. It's not perfect, but I feel like it's a good improvement from how I used to do it at the very, very, very start. But yeah, this is kind of the line art that I've kind of made for it. The next part is probably going to be the coloring, the one that I'm like least happy with, in my opinion. I think the coloring could be really improved. The coloring hasn't been my favorite portion of this specific drawing, because I've like struggled with getting it looking like the actual reference, because the reference is really like there's a lot of light coming up from the top, and it's kind of hard. You see what I mean? I'll talk about it more when we get to that portion of the video. Now to the coloring, the hardest part of it, and the one that pains me the most, and I could have probably worked better on, low-key. The coloring, I had a bit of struggle with. As I said, the light comes up from the... I know I can actually properly explain it, because I didn't really explain it too well when I was talking about the light art. The light comes from the top, which is kind of a bit hard to do, because the shadows is kind of... It's weird that... It's a bit weird, okay? Because she's looking up and the shadow's kind of up. The light is coming from above, and the light is like on her head, but it's sort of in her, only in like a portion of her eyes. And the colors kind of didn't work out as the way I wanted it. And my eyes are different from her eyes. And because of that, like my shadow should be a bit bigger or different shape. And it just all kind of didn't work out the way I kind of wanted to do, okay? So it's a bit of a mess, I think, in coloring. She looks a bit way different than she does in the actual reference. And that's probably my mistake from not changing the colors a bit and figuring out a different style from the one I used in the reference for coloring. I guess it's kind of my fault for this specific reason. But I could have probably improvised more, I guess. I don't know. But I don't know what you guys think. You might like it. I don't know. You guys can tell me in the comments. Also, I forgot to mention, thank you guys for all the support in my last episode. It did the best. It had been doing really well. I didn't expect it to do this well, and it's been doing as good as I did in my start at the channel, which is, I'm really surprised. And yeah, pretty much wasn't expecting it to do so well. So thank you guys for all the support. The coloring, as I said, was a bit of a mess. Mostly because of the shadows coming up from the thing. The face looks too dark in my opinion. But it did turn out decent when I started adding the eyes and like the color, like the flashing of the eyes. Also, the colors of the hair and everything were a bit hard to set up. I think the only thing that I struggled the most with, I'm not gonna lie, is probably the light sources that I tried to like figure out. I pretty much did a layer with just added like color, or added like shine layer, and then just it uses that layer to do everything that's shining and like lighting up in the drawing. I used that layer specifically. I added like a glowing layer, and then just added everything on that layer that's colored, like with glow. Because you can't really see it too well in the reference because the reference is really small in the corner on the left, but it's most of the references uses this like colorful like shine to it, and I had to improvise a way to make that work. And to make that work was a pain because I didn't really know how I was doing it, and then I figured out that if I use spray paint kind of colored, like wool paint, what the hell it's called, and use that color, it makes it look more better. I started using spray paint for like spray paint as like the brush. Whenever it would color with it, it would make the flash look much cooler, and I figured that out and started using it for pretty much everything that shined, and it then ended up having a better style to it. You guys are gonna see a bit of struggle here and there, but I think it turned out good. I think it turned out pretty decent. There's a lot of things that I could have improved. There's a lot of things that I feel like I did decent. I feel like the eyes turned out alright. I feel like the shine on the right is a bit stronger than the shine on the left. I should have fixed that, but I didn't for some reason. I don't know why. But pretty much, it turned out alright. I feel like the drawing in general, it turned out too dark. I mean, the reference image is kind of like a darker reference. Like it's like all in shadows mostly, and like a bit of light source coming from the top, which it does make it a bit harder to figure out where everything kind of goes. But I feel like the colors turned out alright at the end of the day. I mean, at the end of the day, it's all about like learning and improving and figuring out a way to make everything kind of work out all together. So yeah, it was a bit of a struggle. I kind of figured out, I kind of fixed it somehow, and I think like it ended up looking alright. There's a bunch of sections that I feel like I should have probably improved on more. As you go all together, it doesn't look too bad when you add it all together. It's just a bit darker than I expected it when I looked at the reference. The background was also really hard, so I just decided to just use like I'll make a separate part. This is just the coloring portion. I'll talk about it in the next portion where I talk about the background and the end piece. So let's get straight into that. All right, the background and everything else and the end piece. Yeah, the background was a pain because it's surprisingly, because I have to make the kind of light source as well into it. So I decided to just kind of make it simple with just one line of gray and stars background, which is like the star brush, to make it look like it's kind of a cool background instead of just simple gray and like a bit of color, which isn't that simple to be fair, because it does have a bunch of like color variation coming in the background. And pretty much all I used is the star brush to make kind of the dots that it had, and then I decided to add a lot of effects to make it seem. I just experimented with effects, low-key. I didn't know what I really wanted for the effects. I just kind of experimented with everything, make it more. I still didn't find the effect I was looking for. I was looking for a specific effect. I don't know the name of it, but it's like makes it a bit kind of 3D effect. I couldn't find it, so instead of that, I just kind of used whatever I could find, and I kind of found like a decent effect. I don't know exactly the name of it either, still, but I found an effect that looks kind of cool. You guys are gonna see it at the end of the piece, and yeah, that ended up looking pretty good. I don't know what you guys think. It looks like a TV channel or something. I don't know. It looks like she came out from a TV show. I don't know. It kind of looks cool, in my personal opinion. It gives me a bit of gamble vibe. I don't know why. I don't know. You know, it's been it gives me some like vibe to it. I don't know. It looks really cool. It did mess up some of the colors, but I think it turned out really cool. I don't know what you guys think. You can tell me in the comments. But this is the end piece. Also, as I said, thank you guys for all the support. If you guys like this video, please like it, subscribe. We are trying to hit 2K. We are getting there slowly. We are grinding to that number. We thank you guys also from the support in my last video. As I said, I never thought it would blow up this much. And thank you guys for all the support in my current series. And yeah, thank you guys for everything. I hope I see you guys in the next one. Hope you guys enjoyed. Tell me guys if you guys have an idea of a character you want me to draw or reference image or something. You can tell me guys all in the comments. I'll make sure to check every comment that you guys send me, and if you have any requests or stuff, you can send me in the comments for a character or anything. I'll make sure to consider it, and if I do end up using your reference, I will have your comments in the video too. So thank you guys for all the support, and I hope I see you guys in the next one. Thank you guys. Bye bye.